Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art, the podcast where creatives are educated on seeing value in themselves and their creations. Presented to you by RTA, respecttheartist.com. I'm your host, fellow creative and friend, Electra B. Frederick. Let's go. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into things. So this really came through to me, especially speaking to a number of artists recently. But I want to remind y'all that the message that I communicate, me being of service, is not limited to the artist. Okay, I really want to remind y'all about that. So when I'm speaking of artists, I'm really speaking of y'all, okay? Anyone who's tuning into this, because my primary focus has to do with confidence. It has to do with waking you up. It has to do with you even being mindful that there is more to you and being a dynamic individual. You're not limited to the world that you believe that you're experiencing right now. And you know that. You know that. You absolutely know that, hands down. You know that there's always more for you to experience. There's always an opportunity for you to excel. There's always an opportunity for you to learn and grow. So I just want to remind y'all about that, okay? Let's dive into it. So how you can exude greatness, right? What does that look like for you? On a much deeper level, greatness really just has to do with a feeling of being higher, a feeling of being more open, a feeling of being more centered, perhaps. It has to do with that because a lot of the things that artists say that they desire really is centered on a particular feeling. But that's a whole nother podcast episode, okay? So it really is. I encourage y'all to check out some of my YouTube videos, where, we dive deeper into the desires that we just have as individuals and understand that our desires are not information based and they are not the obtaining of physical items. It really has to do with self. So let's get into it. How exactly can you exude greatness? I want y'all to understand something. The circumstances and the things that you're experiencing, that does not mean, especially if you find it to be unfavorable at the moment, that does not mean that you are off of your path. That doesn't mean that you are off of your journey. Okay? It's how you are perceiving it. I'll give you an example. We all have a particular movie or story that we absolutely love, and we never get tired of hearing it. If it's a story, hearing the story, reading the story, we never get tired of the movie, right? We never get tired of it. And there are certain elements in the movie, the story, whatever, right? There are certain elements that always resonate with us. But while we're watching the movie, even if it was the first time that you're watching the movie, you literally know, that hero is going to make it. You know that they're going to do something great. You know that they're going to push past who they were in their sleep, right? It's a state of sleep, meaning they're not aware. They're not aware of the greatness that they have in them, or they have yet to become aware. I'm going to take a pause. Y'all know I sip something, some water, some tea. So I have some herbal tea here. Let me take a sip. Low key, you know that individual is going to make it. So why would you look at your life right now and think that you're not going to make it? This is your path. And you exude greatness by understanding that. Okay. When I'm teaching on confidence, okay, it's so important to know that your essence and at your core, your essence and your core doesn't care about what your circumstances look like right now. You just have to realize what you have in you and not be defined by your circumstances. Right? So critical that you realize that. So how exactly can you exude greatness? All right, let's go. Number one, you need to take risks. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry. How many artists have I met out here that believe that if they do the same thing, they're going to get different results? You know, they say that's the definition of insanity. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and you actually expect different results. You actually expect different results. I'm not here to judge, okay? I'm not here to judge. Anything I speak on, I have experienced and I understand. But you are going to have to take certain risks. What you perceive as a risk, because on a deeper level, again, listen, I know, right? On a deeper level, you're always taking risks. The difference is you don't categorize current actions that you do every single day as a risk. You don't perceive it as a risk. So I knew a woman, she used to work for me. She never drove because she was afraid to drive. And this woman was in her 50s. Never drove, okay? Never got in a car, never went anywhere in a car, okay? She just never did because she was afraid. See, you get in a car and you don't think of those risks. You don't even, it's just another day in the neighborhood to you. So that's what I mean is that you do take risk. In your mind, you have not categorized. Yeah, I'm circling back to it so it resonates. You have not categorized particular actions as risk, but they are. They're not guaranteed, right? They're not guaranteed, but you don't perceive it that way. So whatever you perceive as a particular risk, I know, when I'm teaching on confidence, sometimes it really resonates with those who are a little more to themselves and drawn to them, withdrawn at times. And I want to say this as far as introvert, extrovert, these kind of ideas, okay? I feel like it's really it's about finding the balance of when you exert more energy and when you receive more energy. It's energy conservation. Let me say it like that. It's energy conservation. So there are times, as much as I love to talk, as much as I love to socialize, there are times where I just want to breathe, y'all. Like I just want to breathe. I just want to take a time out, let the girl do her thing and just chill. And then there are times where I want to exert that energy. So when I say more introverted, that is not to categorize an individual. That is to say that sometimes people who perceive their introversion as a negative, they perceive it that way because there is something in them that knows there are times they need to exert. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So take risks. Step out of your comfort zone. All of the stuff you guys are hearing, all these cliche the cliche verbiage or the, very common verbiage, you need to do that. You've got to do something radically different. Radically different. When I'm consulting artists, when I'm working with a one-on-one, I've seen resistance. And what they feel like is resistance and they're having anxiety is only because they're not understanding that the tension that they're feeling within in that moment, it needs to happen. You should be feeling something different. You don't go to the gym and expect different results without pushing past what you're used to. And sometimes it just blows my mind why any individual would feel like they just need to stay on the hamster wheel. And I say hamster wheel with love because y'all know I have a hamster. They feel like all they got to do is just keep running on the hamster wheel. Like that's it. And then randomly I'm going to become great by doing the exact same thing. You can't pick anyone that you perceive as epic or great, you can't find someone who is epic or great to you, who did the same thing over and over. Like, no, I'm just going to pause on that. No, you won't find that. So y'all got to do something different. Take a risk, radically different. I'm not talking about just, small penny ante stuff. Radically different. Number 2, on how you can actually exude your greatness, you have to change your current perspective. Change your current perspective. Now, I touched on this earlier, having to do with understanding that you are not defined by your current circumstances. It is your essence. And if my spiritual creatives out there, if y'all know what I'm saying here, your essence, the highest essence of you, your spirit, right? Or your greatness. We can use that terminology in this moment. You know that you're epic. You know that you're great. You know you're worthy. Stop relying on what is perceived as your external circumstances to tell you that you're not. Right? And I'll go a level deeper, stop using your circumstances, even if they look nice. I can't tell you how many artists I know, how many clients I've worked with, where they are caught in a beautifully decorated prison, where their external circumstances look great to them. They look fine. They look really good, actually. But they still don't feel like they've stepped into their greatness. And that goes back to number 1. They haven't done something radically different. And so their beautifully decorated prison, that's what it feels like in the moment. In that moment, it feels like they're like, everything looks perfect and fine. Why don't I feel some sense of fulfillment? Because you haven't done something radically different, boo. Like what? I'm just saying. So changing your current perspective and understanding that you are not defined by your circumstances, whether they're perceived as wonderful and great or whether they're perceived as, oh my God, this is horrible. Whatever that is, you are not defined by that. You are defined by the greatness that lies in you. And sometimes it feels like it's dormant. It's not dormant. You just have to understand what you got in you. And then follow through. This links back to confidence. Follow through with an action that goes with that, whether that's speaking to someone, talking to someone, going somewhere. I don't know, pick one. You know which one it is. You know which one. The one that you're kind of like afraid of, low key. Low key. You want to like tippy toe around. You know which one. I don't have to tell you. Let me sip my tea. I'm on a roll. Okay. And the third thing that you can do to exude your greatness, get help. Learn from those who have taken risks. Get help. Get help. Talk to someone. Find a circle that's supportive. Talk to pioneers, people that you perceive as risk takers, people who are not afraid to do something different. Right? We all feel tension at moments within us, right? That we have categorized as fear, right? Like, oh my gosh, anxiety. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We all have moments like that, but we can't stay in that because that's when it really dominoes into your health, your well-being, your mental health, all of that, your emotional health, all of that. So you don't stay in that, okay? It happens. It's a natural thing for our body. It just happens. Okay. So you're not going to meet someone who is like, oh, they never have a moment of stress. Yeah, it happens. But surround yourself with individuals who will push you. They will tell you, yeah, you got to do something different, boo, because this hamster wheel doesn't look good on you. Your beautifully decorated prison doesn't look good on you. You have to do something radically different. So those are the 3 things that I really encourage you to remember. The plug that I gave earlier, insanity, is doing the same thing and expecting different results. If you can envision somebody who just keeps walking into a brick wall, like they're just walking and then they walk into the brick wall, then they back up and then they just boop, walk into the brick wall. And then they back up and then they boop, walk into the brick. You would think, what is wrong with that individual? Like, why do they keep doing that? Exactly. Get out of your own way. We hear this stuff all the time, right? Do something radically different. It will stretch you, but it will be for your greater good because that's who you naturally are. Staying in a karmic cycle, or what I call the roundabout, okay? The roundabout. The roundabout, because I have international listeners, I'm not going to assume that people just know what a roundabout is. Some of y'all have heard me talk about this. The roundabout is a driving path, okay? When you're driving in your car, you go to a roundabout, which looks like a circle. And so it's meant to keep people flowing. So you yield as you approach the roundabout, and then you wait for your turn to get in this paved circle. And then you get in the circle, right? But then the job of the roundabout is that, or your job is to exit. Is to exit the paved circular road, okay? That is not natural to stay in that circle. And that's why you don't feel growth at times. You don't feel like you're expanding because you're not. At least that is your essence doesn't feel like it's flowing. Number one, do something radically different. Take risks. Number two, change your perspective. And the third one is get some help. Surround yourself with individuals who are going to push you and expand you. And they're going to stretch you. But you have to be a good student in that way. Like, that's a whole nother discussion as far as the consultations I've had where they're like, I don't want to do. Well, here's the thing, boo. You don't want to. How are you going to tell me that you don't want to do something? First of all, you said you want to do it. Now you say you don't want to do it. Okay, then what do you want to do? Like, don't play that game with yourself. Because you're not playing the game with me. You're playing the game with yourself. Yes, but no, but yes. Figure it out. Pick one and go. I have good news for you. Whichever one you pick will be the right one. Okay? Whichever one you pick, it will be the right one. Because you will learn whether it's perceived as success or whether it's perceived as something else. You will learn. All right. Listen, I love y'all. Okay. And I want y'all to stay encouraged. I want y'all to remember who you really are. I want y'all to remember that you are not seeking something outside of yourself. You're simply opening up to who you really are. Stop playing these games, y'all. And I say that with love because it is a game. You're playing. It's a mental game. It's not a game someone else is playing with you. All right. Woo! Let me sip some more of this herbal tea. I love y'all. Stay encouraged. And I will catch y'all on the next episode. Be sure to check out the links in the description of this episode. Peace, y'all. Mwah. I appreciate you for listening to this entire episode, truly. And in order for me to continue to give this content to you, and if you'd like to support the life force of Dream Aloud Art, click the link in the description below. Once again, take care, peace, from here to the far east. Love y'all.